Hey guys, welcome back to Tamiya Legends, and once again, thanks for stopping by. So it's a 2018 Manta Ray build today. So before we get started on actual build, a little bit of story time. So I actually only got this kit because I couldn't get hold of a top force at that time, and lo and behold, I've now got a top force to build. So because I got this because I wanted a top force but couldn't find one, I had kind of thought we might convert this to a top force in the future after I built it in kit form. But if you watch this video to the end, once we've got it built, I'm going to talk about what plans I have for it, and they are quite exciting, to be honest. So yeah, if you can watch to the end to see what's going to happen with it, it might interest you. So yeah, this is total box art, total. Only thing I'm adding to it at this stage is full bearings, that's it. I won't fit any electrics to it, or will I? Will I fit the motor? Might fit the motor. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, let's get this cracked open and let's make a start on it. Right, so that's all the bits out. So these are the bits we won't need, obviously. Body shell, wing, speedo, wheels, tyres, decals. I'm definitely not going to put the motor in. I was just thinking about it because when I come to run it, I'll put something a bit more meaty in than the standard 540. Oh, there's a prop shaft end there. We'll need that. And then obviously we've got all the part trees, bags B and C. A I've opened up. I'm just going to get some tubs now and put them in. When I actually bought this kit, I paid by it now on eBay, and I can't remember what the company was, but yeah, they said it wasn't in stock and they apologised, and then like 10 minutes later they messaged me back saying, oh yeah, we found it. So they stuck me a a full set of bearings in with it, which I thought was very cool of them. So yeah, we got the tools, we're ready to go. We got the manual. I could probably build the DF01 chassis without the manual. One of my all-time favourites from Tamiya. That's why the Manta Ray is such an important car for me on the Tamiya timeline, because from that came the Top Force, from that came the Evo. So yeah, it's a very cool platform. So yeah, first up is a rear diff, all metal gears in this kit. As you can see, I really love this kit. I've got nothing bad to say about the DF01 at all. I absolutely adore it. Right, let's get building. Right, onto section 1. So that's all the parts for the rear diff and the rear prop shaft cup. I've got some grease that I opened up already. 2 bearings as well at this stage. As you can see, it's all metal diff, which, as I said earlier, I do like this chassis, and it's pretty bulletproof, if I'm honest. And can be made fully bulletproof with just a very few options, which we'll talk about at the end. Right, let's get these built up. Right, that's stage 1 complete. That's your rear prop shaft holder, whatever. 2 bearings on there. I've not greased that gear yet. And then we've got the diff. Now what I have done on this, I've just dug out the out shaft just so I can get the grease round the diff. Just to make it work a little bit. That feels great now. So yeah, on to stage 2 now, which is fitting this, or fitting the diff into the rear gearbox housing. So just before I close that up, 2 bearings going either side of the diff for the out cups. Got a bit of grease on there, so now it's just a case of putting the rear diff cover on. Right, that's step 2 done. That's all sealed now. The diff inside and all the bearings. Also put that little bracket on as well. I'm not sure what that's for at the moment. Can I remember? So looking at the manual now, we're going to skip stage 3 because that's the motor. Interestingly, if you're interested, the kit comes with the standard 21 tooth pinion. You can mess with ratios, but you need the speed gear tune set, and then that gives you a couple of different spur gears, and you can go up to a 25 tooth pinion. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to skip 3 and 4 because we're not mounting the motor, so we're going to jump onto 5 now, which is actually making the spur gear arrangement up. Right, that's section 5 finished. So that's the spur gear assembly. There's 2 bearings, one in either side. Now, the only downside of this is it comes with this terrible alloy gear that you put on, and if you know about these things mush up, and then the grease, and it's just, the grease goes manky. They're not the best. But the beauty about getting or if you can get hold of a speed gear tune set, which is actually marked up as a TA02 speed set, but those spurs come with all in nylon, and it's much better. So that's assembled. That's what's that called? It's the idler, isn't it? So that's done. A bearing either side. Then of course we already built the rear prop shaft cup holder. So now it's a case of dropping these in the front gearbox. Front gearbox, rear gearbox. Right, so that's the full rear gearbox in, greased up. It's very enjoyable putting this together. I really like this chassis. I don't know if I've said that already. Yeah, next up, just put the top cover on with 3 screws, and then that's finished. And just looking on the instructions after that, we got to find the rear shock tower and put the start putting the arms on. Right, so that's us jumped up to stage 8. So gearbox cover bolted on, top cover, rear shock towers on with the both arms all greased, and I thought there was something else. Oh, and the drive cups are in either side as well, with even more grease. A lot of greasing going on in that section. So that moves us on to stage 9, which is making the rear lower arms. These arms are in 2 pieces if you've never done one. So yeah, let's get them built. Stage 10, rear arms put together, rear hubs on, and then the drive cups are in there with 1 bearing each at the moment. If you are doing this kit, be very careful on these 2 screws that you put the arms together on, that you don't over tighten. The plastic's very soft, and it doesn't take a little crank too much, and you'll round them. Very easy done. So on to stage 11 now, which is fitting the rear arms right onto the gearbox now, and putting the dog bones in, and attaching them to the top arms. So let's get that bit done, and that's the rear end completed. So as you can see, if I lift that up a little bit, we've got both arms on now, the dog bones are in. If I spin, it's all nice and free. So yeah, happy with that, quite straightforward. So now we're on to stage 12, so we've got to build the front diff now. So basically going through the same process as we did, but it's just a different shape. Right, so that is stage 15, just about finished. So I won't turn this upside down, but you've got the front underneath gear cover on, so the diff's inside, bearing either side, and then we've just done the top bit now. So we've got the prop shaft thing, and then the other gears, that's all fully greased now. So it's just a case of putting the cover on, and just having a look at the manual after we screw that down, and then we've got to dig out the front shock tower and the top arms. And stage 16 finished, so front shock tower on, the gearbox, drive cups are in, and everything's fully greased. So again, looking at the instructions, it's time to dig the front uprights out. What we got to do? Right, anyway, let's dig the bits out for that. Stage 18, arms together, uprights on, everything greased, O-rings fitted in the outer cups. So that's all finished. So jumping on to 19 is just putting it all together onto the front end now with the famous U-shaped bracket and the dog bones. So yeah, let's get that assembled. And stage 19's done, and I'm an absolute muppet. At the beginning of the video I'm going, yeah, I could probably build one of these without the manual. I got the front end wrong. What a pillock. Yeah, I'd put the uprights on the wrong way. Now that's bad because that just throws everything out. So the turnbuckle balls were in the wrong side, and everything had to come out and changed. So yeah, I'm a pillock. But anyway, that's all redone, re-greased, and that's finished now. It's all really smooth as well, it feels great. So on to stage 20, looking at the manual, that's to build the rear dampers. Now, interestingly, again, the welded pistons, they're not, it's not got adjustable pistons in. I thought this model might have actually, but anyway, not to worry. So we'll build the rears up first, just looking at the manual. And you've got to build them all the way through and actually fit them before you build the front ones. Is that correct? Make 2. Rear dampers 1. And then the top one. Sorry, this is what I'm looking at here. So that's make 2 of the rear damper, but then I was looking up here. Yeah, you got to fill them. Alright, so it's a full rear end to actually get it on the car. Because the dampers are slightly different, they have different springs front and back. Right, let's get those built. Right, that's the rear shocks made. Very straightforward, without pistons and what have you. And as I say, we do have different springs on the rear. Feels quite tight to me. Not tight, but I don't know. It comes with soft damper oil. But yeah, that just feels quite... They do feel quite hard. Anyway, we won't know until we get it on. So next stage is 23, which is actually banging them on, so let's do that. Right, rear shocks on. They don't actually feel as tight now. Once it's on and you can kind of move them with your hand. Nice and smooth as well. So yeah, that's that back end completely finished. So that puts us on to stage 24. So it's exactly the same process, but obviously on the front. So let's get them done and fitted. Right, that's section 28 finished, so front end now finished. Only difference between the shocks, the bodies are the same, front and back, but as I say, the springs are different, front and rear, but the fronts have quite a large, I'd say almost 8mm spacer internally fitted. That's about the only difference really. But yeah, that all feels fantastic. So that puts us on to 29 now, which is just doing a little bit of putting the the electric tray in the car, and a switch mount, servo mounts. Now just sort of looking at the manual, I'm going to be skipping quite a lot of this, so we'll fit this in. We'll dig out and we'll fit the servo mounts. But obviously we're skipping the speedo, then we're onto the steering linkage, so we'll have to build that up and get that in the car, and then we're not too far off finishing actually. So alright, let's dig these parts out next. Right, so that's just about all we'll do with the chassis. So the top plate's on, there's also a little bracket on there that holds your aerial and the switch, and I have put the servo mounts in with the screws for the servo, just so I don't lose them. But yeah, I just got interrupted, just had a knock on the door. It was the post lady, just delivered this bad boy. Been waiting ages for it. So obviously that's an LRP, and it's a 14 double brush motor. They're about 30-40 quid, no, not 30, but probably high 30s to 40 quid. But yeah, it's a nice motor. It's modified, bearings, adjustable timing. It's not vintage, but it's made the old way. So yeah, I think this is going to go in my TRF 201. I think a 14 double will be quite a nice motor for that, and obviously it's got the blue bling. And they also do a 10 turn of this, and it's supposed to be absolutely like ballistic. So I might also purchase another one at some point. But I have got another 2 brush motors on the way. I'm just waiting for them. I've got an Orion 13 triple and a Yokomo 05. Or sorry, no, sorry, a Yokomo T50, and that's a 10 turn. So yeah, I'm gonna have some quality brush motors to be playing with. But I just thought I'd show you guys that now in real time, as it were. Right, steering linkage next. Right, stage 33 done. So, excuse me, we're on to 33. So 32 was just building the turnbuckles, the 3 turnbuckles for the steering, and putting the ball ends on the arms. So now on to 33, which is fitting this to the car, and then jumping to 34, mounting the rear gearbox, 35, prop shaft in, front gearbox on. So I think I'll skip all that and I'll do it all off camera now, and then come back when that's done. Right, so as I said, what we've done, so we put the steering in, bolted the back gearbox down, 2 screws top and bottom, prop shaft in, bolted the gearbox, front gearbox in, that's 2 screws on bottom and 3 on the top, and then there's also the bumper. Now that bumper holds in the U-shaped bracket, which holds on the front arms. So that's all on and in position. Connected, steering keeps getting stuck because I put the servo arm on, and if it goes the other way it locks it. But yeah, steering's pretty good actually, it's pretty smooth, and as I say, the shocks and everything feels, the main drive train feels really good. So what I want to talk about at this stage is some hop-ups. Now, as I said, I absolutely love the DF01. I cannot fault it. But there are there's 2 things that are an absolute must. The first one, as we've done, we've put a full bearing set in it. I mean, you should do that to every Tamiya car, to be fair. But yeah, full bearing kit in there. And the second must is the alloy motor mount. It comes with a crappy plastic one, and these snap really easily, and then of course you're going to damage pinion and your spur gear. These are dirt cheap. These are Jazz Rider. Now what I'm showing you now are not actually for this car. This car is 100% standard, but I will be ordering another motor mount for it. This is for my Top Force. Had I been putting a motor in it, I'd have opened this one up and used it. But yeah, full bearing kit and motor mount, absolute must. The next hop up that we do at the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, the other hop up, or a good hop up for it, this prop shaft isn't the best, but it's one of those people get put off because they'll put a hot brushless system in it. They'll hold it up in the air and rev it, and this thing bangs around. When the car's actually on the ground running, it doesn't do that. The prop shaft's not the best, but it's still capable of running brushless without a problem. But another great upgrade is the alloy prop shaft. Again, this is a Jazz Rider one. Again, this is from a Top Force, but you get the prop shaft and the cups and the circlips, and it's really blingy as well, and they're not a lot of money either. So that's another good upgrade. And then finally is a steering upgrade. Now again, this is from a Top Force, not the Manta Ray. Now this is only designed for the bathtub chassis, but if you watch my Top Force Evolution replica car I did, I bought these in silver and I fitted in them. What you do is you get rid of that solid blue bar and you put a turnbuckle in there instead, which allows you to make it longer or shorter. I can't remember which way it might be shorter to open the 2 steering arms outwards, because if you just bolt that straight to it, now I'm talking about the Top Force, you have very limited steering, whereas if you turnbuckle, you bring it right in, it gives you a lot more. But we'll go into more detail on that when we do the Top Force. But again, if you're going to go to the extent of doing, you know, blue prop shaft and cups, nice little add-on would be that. Just looking at it now, it's down here, so yeah, you would see the bling, or you'd see one side of it anyway. But for the price of it, it's not bad. But I have to say the standard steering's okay, it's not a problem. So all we've got left to do now is put the 4 bearings in the 4 cups and stick the tyres on the wheels and then fit them. That's about it, isn't it, I think? Yeah, let's get that done. Right, so that's the chassis build finished. The tyres need a really good clean. It's got that, you know, I think it's a residue after it comes off the mould. They do sort of wipe off, as you can see, but yeah, I'll give them a good clean because it spoils the look of the car. What else have I done? So the battery holder clips in, the rear bumpers on, the wing mounts on now. Obviously the wheels, tyres are on the wheels and the wheels are on the car. So that's pretty much it, and it feels great, it really does. The suspension, look how high it sits. I'm not going to be happy with that, you know, I like them a lot lower than that. but even if you hold it down, it's still finding its way back up there. The suspension, if you watch a back one, it's kind of straight back up there, where the fronts are way slower. But it does get to the full height of the car. But as I said earlier, I did think they were too tight, but definitely not. It feels really good. Yeah, it's funny how that does that. Anyway, what else is there to do on it? I think that's everything as far. Obviously, we're not putting electrics in it, so really just want to clean those tyres off. We could also, to make it sit lower, we could take the shock collars off, and that'll give us another 6mm, which will probably take us, well, difficult to say, probably take us to about there, which is a little bit better. But again, that's just my personal preference for when it's on the shelf. The diffs feel great. Everything's mega smooth. Overall drive. Yeah, very happy with that. That was an absolute pleasure to build as well. I don't know if I've said on this video, but I really like this chassis. Yeah, I'm liking that. That's cool. And she's done. And as I just said, such an enjoyable build that. I really did enjoy it. So people ask me now and again, when they're getting back into the hobby, what car would you kind of suggest? My answer's always the same. It's always the Manta Ray, if you can get hold of one. Because the whole build's beautiful. The car runs so well, even as Manta Ray, with non-adjustable arms and stuff like that. Just a great car. So, as promised, what am I going to do with this? Now, the reason I've not done the shell in this video is I don't like going straight on and cutting and painting a shell after I've done a build. I like to just have like 24 hours off. So we'll do that on a separate video. But yeah, I think this is a good opportunity to just sort of tell you what my kind of plans might be for this. We've got a couple of options. I think what I need to do is I need to get an alloy motor mount for it, or use a Top Force one for now, and get a running video made in the snow, as it is in this format. Yeah, get a running video made, have a blast with it, and then bring it back in, because I'm going to have so many Top Force pieces left over from that custom Top Force I'm doing. So what we can do to this, we can take the plastic front and rear shock towers off. We can fit the Top Force FRP shock towers front and back. We could even fit the Top Force prop shaft and prop shaft ends, and it's the Top Force prop shaft is really good, so we could fit that. Obviously, not obviously if you don't know, but I'm going to have all the Top Force turnbuckle set left over because I'm putting fancy bling ones on, so we can take all these arms off and fully turnbuckle it so it's fully adjustable. That'd be pretty cool. We also will have the Top Force chassis and top deck, so we could make it into a really sort of flash Manta Ray. But my problem there is when you got the Manta Ray shell on and the FRP chassis, there's nothing to protect it, and I don't know. I'd have to check if you could maybe fit the Top Force under tray, cut the sides down a little bit, and the Manta Ray shell sits over it without seeing it. That'd be really cool, and that'd probably be the direction I went in. Or, because we're putting all those parts on, we could go and put the actual Top Force black shocks on, because they're spare, and get some Top Force wheels, dye those orange, and buy a reproduction Terra Conqueror shell and wing for it. That'd be pretty flash. We could do that. So I've got a lot of options with this car, but I think initially we need to get the shell done next video and get it out for a quick run as it is, because it's a shame to build it to that stage and then not run it and then like do loads of mods to it. You've got to get a bit of fun out of it first, and as I say, these do run great. So I think I've covered everything in this video, and I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed that one. That was nice. So thanks again for watching, it's really appreciated. If you are new to this channel, if you could please consider liking and subscribing to support us, and if you do that, smash that notification buzzer for our weekly videos. And as always guys and girls, happy RCing.